This is KBOI 2 News This Morning on the CW.
Good morning. I'm Kelsey Anderson. It is Monday, August 21st, but you already knew that. Big day. Thousands of people waking up ready to watch a rare solar eclipse pass throughout Idaho. KBOI 2's coverage from both ends of the Gem State. Good morning. Meteorologist Nate Larson. He's in Idaho Falls. And my co-anchor, you'll probably notice he's not sitting here because he's in Weiser to show us the small town that's becoming packed with eclipse watchers. Behind me now, 2 helicopters are dumping 200 to 300 gallon buckets of water. That water is being taken from a pond in Harris Ranch. They did not have to take it out of the Boise River to interfere with floaters. Back to you, Brian. 2/3 of people who have one of these say they don't really like it very much. B. Lebs is going to give us the answer.
You're right about that, Kiki. The answer, their nickname.
That cannot start. No, that is not a thing. And many servers are on the lookout for this, a vertical license. That's because in Idaho and several other states, under 21 licenses are vertical. And according to the Idaho DMV, you have 5 days after your 21st birthday to renew your license, and it will turn horizontal. Behind me, I am starting to see the sun come up. I don't see any signs of smoke just yet. Now, yesterday, people watched from Federal Way where I'm standing. This is kind of the view they were getting. You could see this huge smoke billowing from all around Boise, even into Meridian. Okay.
Oh God, you're gonna hit the curb.
Just when you let your guard down. Rich says the GoPro was wedged in between a couple of rocks and it took them 5 or 6 times passing over it before they could get it free. Okay.
I think she's doing pretty good.
He said this is the easy ride. I don't believe him. No winter storm warning is in effect here in the Treasure Valley.
Now this morning we have team coverage on what you can expect out there. KBOI 2's Lauren Clark and Amika Osumi are live outside to bring you the latest on-road conditions.
But first, let's send it over to Denny Hawkins for a look at how much snow we've already seen this morning and what's on its way. Denny.
Why do you want a new smile?
So I don't look different from anybody else anymore.
We start with breaking news this morning. Several families are displaced after an early morning apartment fire here in Boise. KBOI 2's Lauren Clark is live to explain more, and we now have a possible cause. If you're planning on flying out of Seattle anytime soon, I'm sorry, I can't do that very long. Okay, you might be seeing something new. This is it. The SeaTac Airport is testing out robots. Give off to a moment of silence for your robot voice, which is dead.
I can't with you guys
this morning. So we have a live look at April, who is supposedly about to give birth, but I've been saying this again for a week now, and I'm not actually sure.
This is the greatest scam of 2017.
I don't know if she just was fed a little too much or she is pregnant. See what one teacher has started to do to try to enhance his classroom. He hasn't thrown snow in the classroom. That was the wrong video.
I'll go back to bed. You guys can handle this, right? Brian, give it a try.
Okay. You know, I don't think that this is actually
Brian,
correct.
you're not doing very well here.
No.
All right.
You want me to step in?
Yeah.
Do it. Goodness.
All right, so we're starting off pretty cool this morning, a low of 39 degrees, but we're warming up nicely. 63, warm and breezy by the middle of the afternoon. Look at tomorrow. It is nice. 65 degrees, 2 degrees warmer than today. That'll be nice for that Bronco game, but bundle up because the game's going to get down into the 40s. It's another late one, 8:15. And then into Saturday, 1 degree cooler, 64, still looking nice. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we stick in the 60s. Look at that normal high, 55. We're staying at least 5 degrees warmer throughout the next 7 days.
Can you guys switch chairs and see if anyone notices?
Come here, Denny. You can come over here.
No.
I'll do the question of the day.
All right, you do the question of the day. Yeah, we'll let you do
The answer is get pooped on by a bird.
And
Red
Denny,
cars
I just want to say the only reason I was good at that is because I've listened to you do it so many times. You do a great job.
There you go.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the bell ringing is sure delightful. Rebuild and move on. 1.5 years after the Boise International Market burned down, the building is now almost ready for new tenants. But some vendors have already moved on. I met up with a few of them to find out where they are now and the future of that building.
At my high school, in Africa, they teach us how to sew, but I know I was the best in my class.
Rita Tarienga packed up her sewing machine and life 5 years ago when she moved to Boise from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Without a word of English under her belt, she started selling her clothing and handbags here at the Boise International Market.
It was a good place.
But on the night of September 5th, 2015, she says her life was turned upside down for a second time.
It's that day. It was not easy.
A fire at the Boise International Market ripped her of everything again.
This was like the second time. And we say, okay, it's life. No matter what happened, we stay in life, so we can continue. Yeah.
Today, Rita cherishes this, a Bible that was in the Boise International Market that day, not a single page burned. And this, a piece of fabric that somehow survived the blaze. It's now on the logo of her very own fashion line, Tara Fashions.
We have this, we have this.
Today, she sells online and to local shops. She also attends business classes at KBOI.
I want to learn more for business.
In her future, she hopes to own a successful store one day. As for the future of the Boise International Market, the building is now rebuilt. New doors, new roof, new everything, except no new tenants yet. The owner tells me he's looking for someone to buy this building and hopes this space will be again an economic generator of sorts for this neighborhood. He says at this point, though, he can no longer manage it, and the inside still needs some work. In the meantime, rebuilding is what Abiba Abdullahi did here. She opened her Ethiopian-inspired grocery store March 1st, 2016, just 6 months after the fire destroyed her livelihood.
Thanks, sir.
It's also what Salam Bunyan did. He started looking for a space for a new restaurant just 1 day after that devastating blaze. For months, he tells me he worked sun up to sun down, renovating this space on Overland Road. Finally, he opened the Goodness Land. It's a Middle Eastern-style restaurant. He opened it a year ago.
I have oven.
He tells me it's been a struggle, though.
It's not easy.
But when you find your passion, he says, this only means it's time to move that passion elsewhere.
You cannot stop. If you have a dream, you cannot stop.
This weekend, 1,000 athletes will compete in Idaho's Special Olympics Summer Games. That's happening down in Twin Falls. KBOI 2's Kelsey Anderson introduces us to one young woman who has defied the odds and running for the gold.
Before Courtney Lynch gets on the track, she tells me she couldn't tie her shoes for a long time. But learning to do this is just one small check mark on a long list of accomplishments for the 23-year-old.
I just think that she's such a fighter.
Surviving a premature birth is on the top of that list. Courtney stopped growing at 23 weeks, so doctors called for an emergency C-section.
The doctors told my mom and dad that I probably would not live.
On the edge of survivability, she was born at just over 1 pound. And then the doctors told her parents she might never walk.
And look at me today.
Today, the pink shoes and polka dot socks are not just a fashion statement.
I'm so proud of myself.
Oh, and walking is just her warm-up.
This one is for the 200-meter dashing area. This one, the second place one, is the 4x100 relay. The other third one is for the 100-meter dash.
Woo! Yep, she's fast. And her second and third place finishes here at area games in the Treasure Valley now gives her a shot of going for gold at the state Special Olympics Games in track and field. And before every race this weekend, she'll recite this.
Let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt.
Maybe Courtney came into this world early in part because of that. to be brave and to inspire others.
You know, if Courtney's not running, she's cheering on her fellow, you know, Special Olympics friends, and she's on the sidelines, you know, letting them know that, hey, they can do this too.
Have you ever been told you can't do something? Courtney's heard it, but look at her go now.
I love Special Olympics because I get to do what I love, and nobody judges me, and nobody says negative things.
Sprinting through barriers, helping others get through too, racing toward the gold. In Boise, Kelsey Anderson, KBOI 2 News.
A 9-year-old girl in Meridian needs your help.
Yes, she's hoping for a new smile, but her family needs $20,000 more to get it. Kelsey Anderson tells us how they plan to give her back what was taken by a stroke.
Little Callie was born 3 months early.
Compare how small she was in comparison to a Beanie Baby.
And during her time in the NICU, she suffered a stroke.
This is the one picture that we have of her smiling before her stroke. That kind of shows a more symmetrical smile.
That stroke took away all muscle tone on the left side of her face. Now, 9 years later, on top of piano and dance, Callie says she likes math and spelling. But there's one thing she doesn't like.
I don't like my smile very much.
Callie has been through a lot.
Why do you want a new smile?
So I don't look different from anybody else anymore.
So when her parents found out a doctor down in Los Angeles could give Callie her smile back, they jumped on that opportunity. But they knew they needed help. They set up a GoFundMe page and raised enough for the first half of the surgery. The doctor took a nerve out of her ankle and placed it across the right side of her face. Now she needs a second surgery in December, a procedure that costs another $20,000.
They'll take a muscle out of her thigh and place it in the right side of her face and connect it to that new nerve.
When she smiles, the new nerve tells the muscle to lift the side of the face. And Callie has big plans for her new grin.
Smile bigger.
Smile bigger.
Like my Aunt Tina and the kids at school and my therapist.
In Meridian, Kelsey Anderson, KBOI News.
Mom says the surgery has a 95% success rate. If you'd like to donate, you can do so on our website, KBOI2.com. You'll find Callie's story, and then there's a link to the GoFundMe page. Just click on the story.